You listen to it. I'll listen to it.
Yeah. Is that better than reading it? It's just I can do it in my car. I'm always driving around. I mean, I try to read, but I don't read as much as I do listen. I listen way more than I read.
You got to go on the beach or something where you can hear like a book is like, flipping a page. I might have to check that out. I will check that out.
How bold is it to buy a house on the beach in 2019? How bold is it to say, you know what, I think everything is going to stay exactly the way it is. These fucking scientists don't know jack shit. Like if you buy a house in Santa Monica or something where you're on those stilts over the water.
It's going to go soon.
What are the odds? How long? Do they have odds on what parts of the shoreline get eroded completely over the next 10 years? What are the odds?
I'm pretty sure somebody knows that, though. Or somebody's predicting or planning for it.
Meanwhile, people are still buying those fucking houses. Imagine trying to unload them when the water starts rising.
It's like, oh, we're at 12 degrees. Hey, listen.
What are they going to do? I mean, are they really going to lose all those houses? Or do they get to push back? Maybe they get to push back.
Push what?
Maybe they push the highway back a little bit. Push the houses back a little bit. Pick them up. Back them up before the ocean comes.
No, they're going to take that L and rebuild, man.
Take the L.
This is a real cockroach.
No, that's a tarantula wasp. Yeah, tarantula wasp? Hawk. Tarantula hawk.
Is it in his glass to eat or something?
No, my friend was on the podcast talking to me about it, and he has a farm. And he was telling me about these fucking things. They land on tarantulas and fuck them up and lay their eggs in a tarantula. It's dark shit. But they're enormous looking. And he was just describing how big it was, and I was like, what? And so then I get a package, and it's one of these motherfuckers. Show him a picture of it. Can we put a picture of it?
And then they just
come. A video of a fight.
Oh, okay. But that is what it. That is an actual real dead one, and he has them around his vineyards. Do you know the band Tool?
Oh, so he likes them there.
Well, he likes them there
to kill tarantulas. Right?
I think they're all a part. I don't think they want to kill tarantulas. I think everything's a part. It's all a part of the ecosystem there. The only thing you want to get rid of is stuff that fucks up your crops. The size of these things, I mean, they're goddamn enormous. I mean, if I could describe this, how big is this for people that are just listening? If it's straightened out, it's a good solid 3 inches. Wouldn't you say?
So creepy looking, yeah.
When you say it's 3 inches,
it's
though?
like half the size of a tarantula.
I don't want to hear any small dick jokes.
That's easy. That's hacky.
You don't even know what 3 inches is, bitch. That's 3 inches.
A cockroach.
2 inches at least.
Like a small cockroach.
It's hard to tell because it's curved, folks, because it's dehydrated and dead and it's curled up in a ball. But I feel like if you straighten that fucker out, it'd be 4 inches. That's a big bitch.
That's a big cockroach.
That's a big bitch.
That's alarmingly large cockroach.
So we're looking at some shit from Animal Planet. What is this that we're looking at, Jamie? Is this one
man.
laying the eggs in the tarantula? Fuck.
1 minute version.
Nature's so ruthless, man.
Man, this is gross.
But that's what was so fascinating about that book when they were detailing the lives of the Comanche, because they were brutal. I mean, but also, like, they were living like, in the 1700s, they were living in this way. In the 1800s, they were living in this way that it's incomprehensible for people from Europe.
Is it a series or anything, or only a book?
It's just a book. My friend the Jackalope on Instagram, he's a Hunter S. Thompson.
That sounds like something
enthusiast.
That would be turned into a series.
It seems like it should be. If they did like a real accurate account of these settlers trying to travel across the country, and what happened to them, and what happened to the Native Americans, and the war with the soldiers, and all the treaties that were broken, and all the horrible, horrific shit that happened to them. But it's just all that aside, which you can never ignore. All that aside, it's fascinating just to think of how they were living their lives, just riding around on horses, spearing buffalo, eating meat over a fire. They didn't grow shit. They didn't have baskets. They weren't doing pottery. They were just eating meat over a fire, making bows and arrows and fucking things up and dominating the West.
But they probably still had the same problems as everybody else.
They certainly had problems.
They probably had the same problems as everybody else.
It's just crazy to listen to the depictions of how they tortured the enemy, and it's hardcore. But it's just, to me, when you hear what's a well-researched, accurate account of something that happened in our past, it always makes me think. Like, it's hard to even believe that life was any different, even though we know it was. In 1600 and 1500, it's hard for us to
can't even think about
we
that.
can't even think about what it would be like to live
A bow and
in
arrow?
that time. And these motherfuckers
I was
just
in
riding
San Diego.
horses.
I was in San Diego last week, and they had some type of exhibit going on, and this dude had like some real bow and arrows, like some long ass like
Like real
man-made.
Native American ones.
And I almost stepped on. I just looked at it. I was like, God damn. You know, you think about the man, and if you could build a tool like that, you was the shit in the tribe.
Yeah, back then, if you could build a good
A,
bow.
a good bow, and practice that shit on something.
Wonder when the bow was invented. When did people first start fucking each other up with bows? Let's guess. You know the Mongols had it. So that was in the 1200s.
And that was like this. And there was no gauges or anything. It's just like something that bent was a bow.
Yeah. Well, sometimes. I mean, some of them, they were really skillfully made. And they got really good with their arrows, too. And they got really good with the right size and the right kind of wood. So they would weigh like a similar amount. And there was an art to teaching people how to shoot the bows and the arrows. But, God, they were so crude in comparison to what people have today. But
And they was
back
getting
then, it
done.
was the shit. It was the shit. The Mongols, they had a bow, supposedly, according to who had a piece on the bows of the Mongols. There was like an article that was written about the bows of the Mongols.
What are the bows of the Mongols?
Just gigantic
speaking
fucking bows
of
that
the
they
bows,
would pull back that were
the Mongols was a tribe?
the Mongols, yeah.
Oh, the Mongols.
Dan Carlin's Hardcore History has this amazing series on it called The Wrath of the Khan, and Dan Carlin said that their bows were like 160 pounds to pull back. And so some guy wrote an article. I cannot remember what it was in, but it was all detailing the science behind the bows.
But you
of the
couldn't lock
Mongols.
it or anything. You had to
just 160
and hold
pounds
it, right?
and hold it, and then shoot these
aim.
arrows. That's
'Cause when
insane.
you stretch it out. You can't aim until you have it stretched, right?
Right. Yeah, I'm not good at I don't know how to shoot one, honestly. I mean, I kind of know the principles behind it. I've maybe shot one 10 times ever.
Right.
The one I use has a release. You clip the release to
Right.
the
It's just an
string.
arrow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different kind of thing. What they're doing, there's
See,
a
that's what I'm
Mongol
talking about.
bow. It's
Jesus.
called a recurve bow. And that guy, I mean, I don't know what he's pulling back, but I can bet these guys are strong as fuck.
Man.
And they
Wait,
said
can
their
you just
skeletons.
imagine looking back at the dude that has his bow already back there?
And some of them had deformities in their skeletons that they believe were probably caused by the injuries that they got from pulling back these heavy ass bows. Like they developed these, calcified joints and all sorts of weird bone deformities just from pulling back these gigantic fucking bows. It's so hard to pull something like that back.
Man.
Like a lot of people can't pull back like a 70-pound
But
bow.
you're not just talking pulling back. You're talking about pulling back
And holding it.
and holding
Yeah.
and aim and trying to
aiming.
hit something,
Yep.
not just like phew.
Yep. And
We're
doing
talking
it
about
100 times a day, 200 times a day.
and keep going out there to find your fucking bows, your arrows and shit, like
Dude,
missing like shit.
they had to be so fucking strong.
But they got it done.
I would have, like, if I could have a time machine, man, and just drop down and watch the Comanche, like, run down a herd of buffalo and see them, like, if I could just be a fly on the wall and watch what it was like to be, like, a Comanche in the 1800s, that would be fucking fascinating to see, man.
That would be an interesting eye.
Just people living in this really wild, nomadic hunter life. They barely even gathered. They barely even like ate nuts and berries and shit. Apparently, they're just
They had
eating
to be
buffalo.
hunting all the time.
Yeah, and they were using all kinds of fucked up methods, man. They would light the fields on fire and chase them into rivers and shit.
What the
The buffaloes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's wild shit, man. And this is life or death for them, right? If they don't get a buffalo, they don't eat. Fuck, it is so. There's something about it that's so.
You
it's
gotta
so
come home with a
fascinating.
motherfucking buffalo.
You have to, or nobody eats.
What? I know they. I wonder where they like. Man, we sick of these fucking potatoes, motherfucker.
I don't think they had many potatoes. There's a lot of buffalo.
What vegetables do you think they had?
There was a guy named Dan Flores that wrote a piece about what was happening once Native American tribes started riding on horses and running down buffalo. And they were like, the numbers were getting decimated. They were like, even if the market hunters didn't come along and kill all that buffalo, which, they did, they said it would have taken longer. But these Native Americans on horses were so effective. They were eventually going to wipe them all out. Crazy. I would love to have seen what that was like. Just to see those people existing.
You seem like you would like to live that life.
No, I like air conditioning. I like food.
But
it
seems like you would go if it was a weekend of that shit.
Oh well, I've done it on weekends.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, sort of. Like I've gone camping and hunting. It's sort of. I mean, it's way easier to do than it is to do it with ancient bows and arrows and shit. That's hard to do. But there's probably arguably way more animals around back then too.
Yeah, them motherfucking animals got shot up, son.
Those guys lived their entire life with no knowledge of the Western world. There was many generations where they didn't have any contact, and then all of a sudden, the Spanish come here and the French came here, and then all of a sudden
so
it's
how
the
did they
1400s, the 1500s. I think they didn't even get horses until the Europeans brought them over. And then once they got horses, they just started kicking everybody's ass, especially the Comanches. Apparently, it's amazing, man. This book it's got me. I'm thinking about it all day.
Did they take horses?
Yeah, they stole horses from people. There's stories in there about them stealing horses from soldiers. Didn't know what the fuck they're doing. Comanches came and stole all their horses. Yeah, they would steal all their horses and leave them to die, because you're in the middle of this fucking area with no food, no water, no rain. Good luck. They would just leave them to die. And they knew what they were doing by taking their horses. And that was fun for them. They were like, fuck you.
It's like, get these fucking horses.
Instead of just killing them, I mean, they could have killed them easy. They decided, you know what? We're not even going to kill you. We'll let you slowly run out of food and water. You're about 300 miles away from anything to eat. See ya. Good luck.
But damn, that's how they planned revenge and everything.
Hardcore, dude. That is hardcore.
Like, they'll just starve. Like, that's fucked up.
It's just reading these depictions of what the combat was like, and the raids they did on these settlers' villages and shit. Like, these people they sold people land in like Cherokee or Comanche infested territory. They gave these people this giant swaths of land. Say, here, build a house. This will be perfect for you. And they're like, oh, okay. And so they moved in,
and then it took control of it.
And then Comanches came and killed everybody and took people slaves. And oh my God,
who was the real estate agent on that deal?
Dude, the United States government. Uncle Sam's got your best interest. I don't know who it was that told him to do that. I think it was a Homestead Act. It was one of those things we were trying to get people to settle the West. And the way they were doing it was they were offering anybody who would go out there, you would get a certain amount of land for free if you just go out there and you had to farm it for a little. But then the Comanches, you said, came and took it. They just fucked everybody up. And that's what this story is about at this point. It's fucking terrifying.
I want to watch that series, man.
I know, right? And Netflix needs to get on it.
Somebody's going to get on it. It just felt too, like, really cowboy. I don't know. That series seems like I could watch that shit.
There's a wild romantic connection that we always have to the way Native Americans live, but I've never really seen it depicted in this way as this book. It's like very fascinating, just amazing to hear like what life was like hundreds of years ago right here.
Damn.
I mean, the change out of nowhere. Imagine if you looked at the year 1400 and then go back through time. You could go hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. Not much changes. Right. It all kind of looks the same. And then all of a sudden 1500, 1600, buildings, 2000, 2019, planes, pollution, infrared,
Mars.
5G, Occupy Mars. I got a Mars t-shirt on. Well, it all happened so quick.
It did.
It's fucking cruise ships. Look at the size of that boat. What the fuck is that? Giant boat that can't stop or slow down. They bang into harbors.
You just waving at people and just docking that shit. In Cleveland, they got a line of those boats. They just wait on the side.
When I was in Venice, the boats let out.
You got some peanuts or something, son?
Yeah, you hungry? Are you hungry?
No, I can use some peanuts.
We don't have any peanuts, but that's a fat bomb. That's an F bomb.
I don't want this shit.
It's
son.
good for you.
I don't want no pork.
That's
I don't want no. I know, man. Nobody want
those. I eat those.
fucking-
Don't say nobody.
What do you
'cause I
mean
eat
you
them all
eat
the
this?
time.
What is
I
it?
do.
What is it? It's like
It's mostly nuts and fats, healthy fats.
but a liquid.
No, it's like a gooey paste. You
Man,
chew
I
it,
don't
can't
want
do
no
it.
goddamn gooey paste, man. Fuck out of here, son. Nah,
It
that's
tastes
all
good.
you, son.
No,
that's all
that
you,
is all
son.
me. I love these. I
Yeah,
eat the shit
nah.
out of these. They're called F bombs.
Nah,
Yeah,
man.
this is salted chocolate macadamia, one of my favorites.
But what is it supposed to do?
Gives me healthy energy.
Okay.
Like say if I just need like a little bit of a snack, like if I'm gonna go work out or something like that, but I
Right.
don't want to eat a full meal, I'll have one of these. Or if in between meals, I'm like a little bit hungry, I'll have one
Oh,
of these.
you just
know what I'm
squeeze
saying?
that shit.
Yes, nutrition.
Yep, that's
nuts.
nutrition in the bag.
That's a free ad for F bomb.
Hold
I
on.
love that shit. I love like see, can't say that without sounding gay, but I love nut butter.
How different from like peanut butter?
Oh my god!
I thought you were gonna say how different
Yeah.
from jizz.
Nope, nope.
Nah,
Peanut
I don't
butter.
want that.
I mean, it's almond butter is a little different than peanut butter in the way I don't know what that's a
They
good
should
question.
get a
Like
new name. I don't know who.
nut butter.
Nut butter. I didn't think they ever expected.
What do you think is more? That's a good question because I never really. What's more nutritious, peanut butter or almond butter? Do we know? Let's find out. Let's Google. What's more nutrition?
Well, I mean, like which company makes it? Because there's going to be additives. and
That's
shit,
true.
like
That's
sugar
true.
and stuff.
Just maybe there's like a pure definition though. Maybe by definition or just by fact, almonds have X amount percentage of this or that peanut butter doesn't, or vice versa. I don't know.
Almond for the win.
But most people aren't allergic to almonds. Not that most people are allergic to peanuts, but
Man,
I've heard of more
everybody-
people being allergic to peanuts than almonds, right?
Because you always hear it on the airplane.
They have similar nutritional value. Almond butter is slightly healthier than peanut butter because it has more vitamins, minerals, and fiber. But both nut butters are roughly equal in calories and sugar, but peanut butter has a little more protein than almond butter. So, pretty similar in the neighborhood. Not a
nut
giant
butter.
leap. But people get Callan's mom's got an allergy to Brazil nuts, which is kind of crazy.
How do you find out what nut you're really allergic to is the question.
With some people, they barely survive it. Some people they're so allergic to peanuts that if they get on a plane, they will ask other people on the plane to
know.
not eat peanuts.
They'll say that, but you know what? I mean, I don't know about that. I'm pretty sure out of all the times you've heard that announcement, right?
Right.
Somebody has had some peanuts on that plane.
Some fat dude who
I
just
don't
doesn't give a
think-
fuck about the world.
I don't think you can have a flight. Yo, planners, bitch.
He just eats it like this, so no peanut dust gets in the air.
Yeah. But he's got peanut breath for the whole fucking flight.
He's secretly hoping he hears her coughing. That's a weird allergy, man.
Nuts.
Peanuts. Peanuts, it's a weird one.
It'll shut the whole fucking
terrible.
plane down.
Well, it's also a deadly one. It's not like an allergy to milk. Allergy to milk makes you fart. You feel terrible. You get
Right.
lactose intolerance. You know, allergy to peanuts is a serious one. That's a death.
It's like
That could kill you.
your face deforming and everything,
Really?
right? Yeah.
Is that what happens?
I mean, the people that I've seen that allergic reaction to like seafood, but I can imagine it's probably the same type.
Wow. There's so much shit that can kill you if you really wanted to sit down and freak out. You could
Easily.
easily. You know, that's what's hard in life. It's hard to keep your eye on positivity. Just move forward and purely positive. It's so easy to think about all the shit that could go wrong,
So
all the
many-
stuff that could kill you, and all the poisons and
All the
drugs.
distraction. And like you say, it's easy to think of that.
But you want to know that stuff's out there, right? You don't want to be ignorant. You have to have some knowledge.
You have to have. I think you should have a minimum amount of knowledge in a lot of shit.
Do you hear about this shit that's going down in Mexico?
What is happening?
Where those Mormons
Got shot up?
They got shot up by the cartel.
But then they tried the first report. They tried to say they made a mistake.
They made a mistake.
Yeah, they was like, oh, they think that it was a hit went wrong. That was the
Right.
original reporting, but now it's just a hit.
So they think it's just a hit. It's not a mistake.
Yeah, 100%. And some of the Mormons, a lot of them was like, fuck that, we out of here.
They should get out of
Some
there.
are staying.
plagued by deadly attacks. Members of this Mormon community are fleeing
I thought that was
Mexico.
Theo Vaughn. I was like, what the fuck?
Is that why you did
yo,
it, Jamie?
I was
Back it
like,
up.
God
Back it
damn,
up.
man. Yo, I was like, Theo Vaughn, what the fuck? You was a Mormon, bro?
Oh, it's the video before it. There he is.
Oh, man. That's Theo Vaughn's future right there, buddy. That's him.
That's Theo taking a break backstage on his stadium tour.
That is fucking Theo.
That's by this time Theo's doing stadiums, and he's like, "Hey, we'll say."
That's fucking funny.
He's a funny dude, that Theo Vaughn.
Hilarious.
He's a very funny dude. He's a unique guy. Like, his funny is very unique. Like,
Oh, yeah.
He makes, like, if you see it written down on paper, you wouldn't know, why is that funny? And then you see him say it on stage, you're dying. It's because it's coming out of him.
It's out of him.
You're like, he's got an act like nobody could rip his act off. Good
Never.
luck. Good luck.
Nope.
What are you gonna do with that? You gotta be that.
You got. He's one. You can watch him and you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, man. Nuh-uh.
He's one of one. Theo Vaughn's one of one. I don't know a number. Oh,
Hamster bones.
He's like that other guy. Oh yeah. No, there's no.
Nah.
Nobody says you're like Theo Vaughn.
You're right.
Right?
He's a Theo Vaughn.
That's like saying like you're like Brody Stevens. And I've never heard anybody say he's like Brody Stevens. Shout out to everybody who can't read and write. Y'all could have worked harder in school, but whatever. Hope y'all are doing well. Amen.
See, he's all about the Lord, man. He's all about the Lord, man.
Y'all could have worked harder in school, but whatever. And you hear it coming out of his mouth.
Yeah. I remember he told me the story of why he didn't like black guys coming up because one of them jumped him on the school bus. He was like, he was like, it was Tyrone Jenkins, right? He knew the name, and all I could do is respect the story, man.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he's been fucking that forever.
He's a hilarious guy. It's such a fun time for stand-up, man. There's so many killers out there right now.
Yep.
You know, like any night, if I go to the Improv or I go to the store, any night, it's just murderer's row. I saw Damon working his new hour.
Oh, yeah.
He's doing his new hour in the lab. It's good.
That's
It's
a good
already
workout.
good.
The comedy scene now is just, it's so on fire now.
And Damon he took time off, you know, so he decided to come back, just do these shows.
Have you seen him work it out?
Yeah, I was
It's
watching
been
the other
good?
day. It was funny, man.
Yeah, he knows how to do a
It's a funny.
special.
Always, he's ready. By the time he goes on stage, he's ready. But
Yeah.
he has a different approach. He films every show, every single show he does. He brings a tripod and his camera and he films it and then he watches it and analyzes it. I'm like,
Oh, he'll get it down.
Oh,
People
for
be interested
sure.
to see him, too.
You remember the one special he did, The Last Stand? He called it his Last Stand.
When he dropped the mic?
Yep. 'Cause
Yeah.
he was doing movies with Bruce Willis. Remember he did
He
that?
was on fire.
He was on fire.
He was on fire. He's always been on fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on fire. He dropped the mic like,
Yes.
yo, that's so funny.
Remember the bit?
So does this start off with him picking the mic back up? I
No,
got money saying
right.
it. I'm
Yeah,
sure it's like this.
That
I
would
pick
be
it up,
hilarious.
Yeah.
It'd be hilarious if he started this next special that way.
Pick the mic up.
I don't know if he's like getting ready to do a special. I think he's just putting together material.
Right.
It was fun listening to him though. We were all in the green room of the Improv, and we're talking about just stand up in general, like his approach, and he's a guy who works. I have
Always.
a lot of respect for the way he puts together his shit. He's not just going up there winging it and not. He's covering all the bases. He brings a fucking camera. It made me feel lazy. He's got a goddamn camera and a tripod that he's carrying around personally.
Right.
He's setting it up. He goes home and edits the videos. He puts them all on his computer. And I'm sitting here going, oh, okay. I'm like, fuck, I'm lazy. Like, I need to get a goddamn tripod.
Nah, son. Everybody got different systems,
That's
man.
true, but when someone takes the watching and analyzing that deep, I gotta go, he might be onto something.
Well, he is.
Right?
That's his thing.
Because don't you think that if you do a set and then you watch the set, it's almost like you did two sets?
No, sometimes I watch shit sometimes. I watch shit with no sound.
Just to see what you look like?
Yep.
How do you look?
I look like I move around a lot. I look like I'm telling a story. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I look like I'm telling a story,
Right.
I look like I'm fucking telling a story.
But if you were going over new shit, right? Like, say if you release a special and then you want to write a whole new hour, you would want as much feedback as you could get, like, personally, like, as you're formulating the bit. You know how bits are just
Yeah.
in the beginning. You don't know where the fuck you're going. It's a little clunky. It'd be good if you could see it too.
Yeah, but you feel it more than anything,
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, like I think you have so many thoughts you might want to, write something down just so you can have all your thoughts in one space. But you feel it,
Yeah, you definitely do.
You feel it like shit. You start talking about doing it more special. You write chunks of material, and then, it's once you feel good about something,
Yeah, I was just thinking his method is one step further than mine, which is just listening. Like, I think that's probably the way to do it. I mean, if you're going to record your sets, you really should record. Like, you really should have a fucking video of it, and watch it. It's like that level of discipline. That's like next level discipline. But then the way he writes is interesting. He was like, I never really write things down in terms of like write the whole bit out. He goes, I have ideas.
Exactly.
I have to say it. And when he's saying it, he finds the funny. I was watching him do this bit. It was really interesting because we were talking about it. Then I watched him go downstairs and do it. And, in the 90s, when I was just getting to the store, he was like a hero in the comedy world.
Hell yeah.
To be able to work with Damon Wayans at the Comedy Store when I was in my 20s, I was like, this is crazy. That's Damon Wayans from the fucking Wayans brothers.
Exactly.
The other candidate for the greatest sketch show of all time. Those are my top two.
Oh my God.
That's the other candidate. I'm sitting there working with him at the fucking goddamn Comedy Store. It was weird. Man, that's the weirdest thing, man, when you're a young guy or a young girl, you just get into comedy and you start to break through, hanging out with comics that you used to watch on television.
You're like, oh shit. And then you realize it's just like, what the fuck just happened? You're like, what the fuck?
It's weird, but you get used to it. You go, oh, they're just
But then
people.
you're hanging out with them for a reason, though, because everybody don't hang out with them.
Yes,
You
that's
know what
true.
I'm saying? Like, you're there's a reason why you're hanging out with them and not everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
at a certain point. I mean, there's only so many people that are going to get past at the store.
See, you at Marlin, damn, man. So you was out here when they were really just like, the comedy scene was on fire.
It was interesting. It was really interesting. And
it was
went through
really
a
black back then, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, the Comedy Store was for sure. Like all the killers. There was Fat Tuesday. That was the biggest room, like the biggest promoter room. Those Guy Torreys, and of course Joe Torre, who did Def Comedy Jam.
Right.
So everybody knew the Torre brothers. So didn't Tupac pull a gun out at one of those or somebody with him? Wasn't there some crazy story from the Comedy Store about like Tupac almost getting in a gunfight in the fucking main room?
That could have been any store. That could have been any store. In the 90s, that could have been any store, son.
Yeah, the Comedy Store was wild back then.
Yeah?
There was moments where it was wild. There it is. Guy Torre recalls curving Tupac at the height of East-West tension. Curving, what does that mean?
Stopping diffusing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think there was some sort of firearm in the premises.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's like, but then, other than those guys, though, here's the thing that was crazy. It was like, there was a lot of guys that were there that were laid over from like the 80s that you don't hear from anymore.
Right.
There was really funny people, too. They just, for whatever reason, they just never quite caught on for them. And back then, they missed what we have now. Because if you didn't get a television show and you didn't get on a movie, you're fucked.
Yeah, it wasn't nothing to do.
There was nothing else to do.
Right.
It was so few guys.
On the road.
Just got famous from doing stand-up.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody did something else. And then...
And that's over... Oh, yeah. But you wouldn't get fame in New York, but you could make a living in New York.
You can make a living in Boston, too.
Yeah.
Same thing. You can make a living.
You can make a living, but
Yeah.
it ain't going to be no extreme living, but...
No.
You can make a living.
You had to have some kind of TV show or something where people would come to see you. Martin had everything, obviously. We just talked about it.
Yeah.
But most people relied on something else, and some of them, it just passed them by, and then they were in their 40s and 50s, and they had never really hit with anything. And you'd see them hanging around, but it was just like, fuck, it didn't work out. And then this new crop came in after that. The new crop came in like the 2000s. The early 2000s, you start seeing these new guys coming in. And you start seeing, like, that's when Ari Shaffir was already killing at the club by then. He was already doing, like, smaller spots by then. I think he was probably even, I wonder, when did he become a paid regular? Yeah. But it was it was on the comeback. It went back and forth till now, and now over the last like 4.5, 5 years, the Comedy Store is on fire. It's not like anything else I've ever seen.
I can't even explain the energy on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
The whole fucking week is dope, but it's something about Tuesdays.
Tuesdays because everybody's off the road.
Tuesday just like it's like that. I think the Comedy Store on Tuesday nights right now.
Yeah, it's a hot night.
And then the energy, the patio energy, it's a good spot.
It's a great spot. And then there's roast battle afterwards. And then Tuesdays, a lot of times, Jeremiah does that stand-up on the spot show, too. He does that a lot on Tuesdays.
On which room? In which room?
He does it in the Belly Room. He's doing it this Tuesday, but I'm at the Improv.
I'm out of here. Where am I Tuesday?
I'm
in DC.
Have you done that show?
Which
stand-up
one?
on the spot show?
No.
You just get blasted. You just get
What
as
you mean?
high as you can. Just have like 2 or 3 drinks, and then people yell out subjects. You have no idea.
Oh, you get this.
Yeah, you have no
that
idea.
sound like fun.
Oh my God! Every now and then you come up with a bit. Every
that
now
would
and
be
then.
fun. That would be a real test.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's a real test.
You would excel at that. You need to do that.
Yeah, I'll do that shit.
You need to do it. He does it like 1 Tuesday a month. I told him, why don't you do it every week? What the fuck?
It's in the Belly Room, right? There's
Yeah,
60
Just
people.
do it every week, man. I don't think
I
he
want
wants
to do it.
He needs to farm it out to like have a B promoter. Like
To
when
just
he's
put
not
it out?
around. Just have it every week. If he doesn't want to do it every week, I get it. I get not wanting to schedule it every week.
But that is a good place for the birth of a joke.
Oh my God, it's amazing. And the audience knows you have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
Scariest feeling ever. They're like this. Wait a minute. This motherfucker just made this up.
And they know you're blasted.
Oh, so they get lit.
Oh yeah, I do. I don't do that show. I don't do that show sober. I have. It's just,
I'll smoke an L. I don't think I'll do no alcohol. Well, I'd fucking
you
I
never
would.
know.
Yeah, that sounds like
Just a
one
little
of the
bit.
drinks. Next thing you say is like,
Just
yeah,
a
let
little
me
bit.
Tito's and tonic to
Yeah,
go.
just a little bit to get the old blood pumping. Get the old don't give a fuck engine cranking.
Get it going.
What's up, Jamie?
There is a Tupac shootout story.
Oh my God. Oh. So Joey Diaz had it on his podcast.
Yeah, he told it on his
Oh,
podcast.
okay. He probably told me about it too. Yeah, man. Wow. Tupac came in, he's your friend, and got into a shootout. No, wow.
So Eddie Griffin.
Eddie
got
Griffin
banned.
got banned because Tupac got into a shootout?
There's still bullets on the Mondrain across the street.
Oh my God.
Spilled out to the street.
Damn, son, that's too much.
Oh
yo.
my God.
Yo, they
Now I'm
fucking
responsible
got
for Tupac
bullets.
getting into a shootout. How crazy were the 90s? Jesus,
Him and
Tupac.
Tretch from Naughty by Nature beat somebody up in the main room also.
Oh God.
Damn, at Guy Torrey's night.
Jesus Christ.
Yo, that night was off the hook.
Whew.
I remember that night. Fat Tuesdays.
Do you do Laugh Factory much?
Yeah,
How you like it over there?
it's cool.
Yeah?
Yep, I have a good time. I do chocolate Sundays. I do a lot of Jay Davis shows.
It's a great room. The way it's designed.
It really
It's
is.
a great room. The Ice House is a new owner now.
I heard
New
about
people
that.
bought the Ice House. I haven't been on a new. I think they're gonna just keep it basically the same, pretty much. I think,
Yeah.
and Bob is like he's consulting for like a year, making
Oh,
sure
yeah?
they run smoothly. Yeah,
That could. I mean, the Ice House has history. That's a good room to work too.
oldest room in the country.
Is it?
Yep. Yeah.
It started stand-up comedy.
It started with variety acts, and then it went to full-time. It was originally an ice house, like back before they had refrigerators, when people would buy ice.
Oh yeah.
That's why they call it the Ice House.
Makes
And then
sense.
it became like a variety show place where like they'd have bands and then they have a few comedians and then they just went to straight stand-up. But I think they went to straight stand-up in the 70s. Is that what it is? 78. And so I think, I don't know, does that make them the oldest comedy club? It seems like the Comedy Store was around back then.
I think that was full-time comedy then is what this is. But
The Comedy Store wasn't full-time in the 70s?
No, I'm saying the Ice
What
House
year did
became
the
full-time.
What year did the store? Was that 76? Find out what year the store was opened.
You ever did the La Jolla store?
I love that place.
I love that room. I was there last week.
Ooh, that room's amazing.
That
That's
room
a
is
fun
so
room.
cool.
I like those people. I like San Diego people.
Yeah, they real
Something
chill.
about San Diego people. They're like less LA, but more California. You
They
know what I
are.
mean? They're like chill people.
They are. They like nice Californians.
Yeah,
Like you said, they're nice Californians.
Yeah. But they're not Hollywood. They're like
No.
all the California, but none of the Hollywood. Like regular folks
Yep.
that live in a nice city in California with the great weather, but they're not Hollywood.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You nailed it. I went down there and they had some festival going on downtown.
They're
I ate at this
beautiful.
restaurant. It was nice.
They're beautiful. I love them. I love Santa Barbara too. You ever go up Santa
I
Barbara?
don't spend a lot of time in Santa Barbara.
Bro, Santa Barbara's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's the same thing. Not too many people.
Yeah.
It's like it's nice. It's pretty.
Man, these like the
Comfortable.
the most ergonomically designed chairs.
yeah.
So it says the Comedy Store opened in '72, April '72, but the Ice House was running from 1960 to '78 as like a variety show. So comedians were going the entire time. So that's why it's distincted as longest ongoing comedy club, because it's been going on there.
So it's had comedy forever, but it had other stuff as well.
Right.
Whereas the Comedy Store was only comedy, and that was '72.
Right.
Okay. Huh.
And
How does that
what
work,
did
then?
what did it take to get a weekend at the fucking Ice House? That was probably crazy, right?
Oh man. Well, there probably wasn't that many clubs back then, right? How'd you get work?
You get a weekend at the Ice House. Shit, it's only one club. It's not that many fucking. I know they had a shitload of comedians.
There used to be a place that my friend Adam Ferrara used to work at that was in like Westwood or Brentwood or something like that. That was a real clean place. You had to be clean to work there.
I know.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I know the club.
Yeah.
I think they said it's the spot that Leno hits on like.
Oh, you're thinking of
Sunday-
the Comedy Magic Club in Hermosa,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. That's
I
that
wasn't
one?
thinking about that. No, I was thinking it was a place that Richard Jenny used to work out at all the time. God damn it, I wish I could remember. But I remember Ferrara was working there, and him and I were buddies, and I was in the back of the room going,